request she had to conduct a big truck event at the library on June 22nd, 2021. We do have Jody here if she wants to speak a little bit about the...
Yes, Jody, would you like to come forward and give the public a little rendition and a little synopsis of this exciting event that you're having?
Good evening, everyone. The library is planning summer reading, and we are planning all of our events outside. And of course, we thought that big trucks would be a great hit, so we requested that the road in front of the library be closed for about 3 hours. We requested some big trucks from the city, and our children's librarian, Stephanie, is planning an awesome story time. So if you have any questions about that event, please let me know. We're almost ready to release the summer reading program, probably by early April.
And the dates is forthcoming?
It is June 22nd.
June 22nd.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jody. Anything else? This is exciting. Anybody have anything else? Okay, well, we're looking for council action.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Beyondich.
Support.
And support by Councilor Freely to authorize the closure of Fifth Avenue for the big truck event sponsored by the Virginia Library staff and management, be held on June 22nd, 2021. The closure for approximately 3 hours. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We recently renamed the engineering department to the Community Development Planning and Permitting Department, and so discussion was held regarding the job descriptions in that department. It was moved and supported to eliminate the Administrative Assistant Engineering Department job position.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Johnson and supported by Councilor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the addition of a senior administrative coordinator position and to include that position in the AFSCME contract.
I will move the position.
Councilor Johnson moves to approve. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the addition of the construction codes inspector position and to include that position in the AFSCME contract.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Johnson. Is there support?
I'll support, Mayor.
Support by Councilor Baraboo. Is there any further discussion? Just one quick one. By making all these changes after moving with the retirement of our public works director and moving a part of the engineering department, moving that individual over to head part public works, doing the cost benefit analysis and the changes in the position within that organization, we were actually saving that money in that department. Is that correct, Britt?
Correct.
Thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
It was moved and supported to authorize adopting a resolution making application and accepting grant funds from the Department of Iron Range Resources Community Infrastructure Grant Program for the 2021 Street and Infrastructure Improvement Project.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Freely,
I'll support, Mayor.
supported by Councilor Paulson to adopt the resolution, making application to and accepting funds from the IRRR Community Infrastructure Grant Program for the 2021 Street and Infrastructure Improvements. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Fire Chief Alan Lewis was present at the meeting to discuss sunsetting the emergency order for the city of Virginia as the state is rolling back restrictions. We do have Chief Lewis here.
Did you need to add anything to that at all, Chief? Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So it was moved and supported at a committee level on the recommendation of our Emergency Management Coordinator and Fire Chief Alan Lewis to authorize the termination of the city's emergency order effective March 24th, 2021. Counselor Beyondich,
Thank you.
are you making a motion?
No, I was going to ask if Chief Lewis could clarify that, what that means to the public.
Okay, Chief Lewis, would you please come forward? Thank you very much. And clarify for Counselor Beyondich and all of us in the general public what this usually means, the termination of this order. Thank you.
Good evening, Council, and thank you for the question, and thank you for the opportunity to respond. So, in effect, this doesn't change anything for the general public. This really affects the City of Virginia's operations, having all councilors present for meetings. The governor's orders are still in effect until he reverses them or they get rescinded, but it really doesn't change any of the other community health or public policy guidelines that you've heard from your state, local, and national officials. So, it doesn't change anything. It only affects us, but I believe in the Henry David Thoreau quote, "The government which governs best governs least." And so if we don't need this tool anymore, we just don't. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. So looking for a motion.
Also
make
move.
that-
Oh, go ahead.
I'll make a
Counselor
motion.
Beyondich moves to approve the termination of the city's emergency order effective March 24th, 2021, and supported by Counselor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
We will be conducting a meeting with MnDOT on March 29th, 2021 to discuss the Cuyuna Drive intersection and also the property that MnDOT owns on the corner of 2nd Avenue and Highway 53. The meeting was then closed at about 11:01 a.m. to discuss some real estate negotiations. We received and filed a request for a purchase of parcel code in downtown Virginia, and we directed staff to negotiate with the owner for a parcel. No actions needed on either of those items.
Thank you.
No further items today.
No further items to come before the committee of the whole meeting from last Tuesday's meeting. So move to item number 10.
Mayor,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Counselor Paulson.
thank you. And just a point of housekeeping, if I may. Under the item L on the receive and file, the email from the individual regarding the land purchase request, the parcel code that's identified it's actually the private party's parcel number, and that should have been identified as the two parcel code numbers that the actual city owns. So the first parcel number would be 090-0010-05970. The second one would be 090-0010-05940. And then that should be removed on the private portion of that parcel.
Yep, thank you for catching that, Counselor Paulson.
You're welcome.
We'll make that change. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to item number 10, Commission Liaison Reports. Does any city councilor have a commission or a liaison report they'd like to give? Counselor Bearable, I think you have two reports to give this
I
evening.
have one report and a request on another one, Mayor.
Okay?
To do.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. The Public Utilities Commission, which I'm liaison to, met yesterday at 3:30 PM. And we had discussions on a whole number of things, non-payment of disconnect updates. They had 10 originally in the last setup. 9 of them have been completed already, 1 is still left. They had a water leak under the bridge that they're going to be working on. There's been a small leak. They're not sure how much it is, but it's not much from the when it was freezing. Lakehead Utilities, together with our utilities, will be checking that out to find out. They've got a special bucket truck, but our crews cannot do it alone, so Lakehead will be doing that for the utilities. It's the water line that goes to Midway under the bridge. They're also going to be looking to see if there's any warranty on that through Pat Houston with the State Department to see if that can be covered by warranty. There's a sheet that I'll have Britt print out for the north side steam conversion with the numbers, and I'll give that to her after the meeting so she can get that to all the counselors. The important thing of this whole meeting yesterday was the February critical days gas discussion on the natural gas that during those cold 30 below days. They ended up with 6 days, ended up in the critical days. Now, our utilities does an interesting thing. They average throughout the whole year with their ups and downs by a graph, then they take the average across the board for the allocation and buying of gas through contract. But they do something different than most communities do. They do a hedging of 100% of that line. Most cities will drop it to 40, or not 40, 50, 60, 75%, which when this hit, we were notified a few days in advance, and we bought 2 additional days during this cold time through the sources that we have for gas. Instead of being about $3 a unit, it was $10. But most of them, if they waited longer, were way sky high above that. As an example, the city of Two Harbors ended up with a deficit of $1.2 million. Hibbing was $1.8 million during this time. We were $597,000 in arrears because we acted appropriately and because we were 100% hedged during this time that they figured out gas, which is unusual. And we've been doing this for quite a number of years, and it's paid off. The last time this happened was 2005. What this means is the utilities right now could go ahead and charge the residents of Virginia this additional $597,000 because of this unusual condition. But the utilities is not going to do this. They're going to take it through their budget because over the last number of years, they have not spent their total dollars during the gas season. So they've banked gas in arrears into a what they call a bank of natural gas. So they're going to eat this cost. So the residents will not be charged anymore unless something happens in the final audit by the end of the year. They'll look at it again, but as of now, there will be no charge additional to the residents of Virginia or the businesses. So that's really good news for us. They're looking at the old Malone Hall that they have now. They're not sure what they're going to do with that. Right now, they're looking to either move out of that building and demo it and stuff, and then build a new building because that one's too small for all their equipment and stuff that they have that they're storing in there right now. That's not finalized at this point in time. They're running right now 44,000 pounds of steam right now with the wood boiler. They don't have any of the other boilers running right now, and it's eating up about 4 truckloads of chips a day, along with running some of the gas to keep the wood and moisture at the 30% it needs to be run at. They will be installing the new pony boiler, which is the smaller boiler, and it'll be done either in June or July. This will suffice as we cut back on the steam. We will not need to use the big turbines or the big coal-fired boilers once they get this installed. That's what you saw when the road was closed on 6th Avenue. They were putting in a big doorway so they could get that pony boiler into the utilities up on, I believe, the 2nd floor. So that was basically it for, they had one lost time injury, which they haven't had for a long time. It's nothing serious, just somebody tore a shoulder out, so it's nothing real serious, and they're cranking on a wrench. So any questions on that report that anybody may have? Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Johnson.
Thank you. Councilor Baraboo, anticipating that next year twice as many people are going to be on the gas system, have they made those accommodations when they're planning this
They will be making.
betting on the oil business?
Yes, they will.
I'm concerned because $500,000 is a lot, and next year there's going to be literally twice as many people on the system, so I would hope that they are planning extra for next year because of what happened this year. And like I said at the last meeting, I appreciate knowing that they were putting the savings away because it's not our fault that and it's cold. It always gets cold in Minnesota. And it was frustrating when it was brought to our attention that we might have to pay, and I appreciate their work on not making us pay. And again, I would hope that they're going to look at twice as many people being during the cold spell next year. Thank you.
They will be looking at and allocating a new contract for gas for the coming winter months and stuff. They haven't started it yet because it's still early, but they will be doing that, yes, Councillor Johnson. They know that they have to have more gas supply.
Just to add on to what Councillor Johnson has asked for, you know, as they move through the budgetary process, I know they've been planning for this for quite a long period of time. I do have a performance plan in place. With respect to the gas purchases, just for the education of all of us and the general public, so they buy their gas by contract over a period of years, is that correct?
That is correct.
And so do you know off the top of your head when they'll have to renegotiate that gas contract?
I don't know 100%, but I think it's been planned in these conversion things to upgrade the contracts each year as they do the conversion. I'll have to find that out for you for sure, but I believe that's how it works.
You know, as the liaison on the council for the public utilities, if you could get that information for us.
I certainly will get that information. I'll find that out tomorrow, and I'll send it on to Britt so she can send out a memo to you folks.
Thank you, Councillor Bearable.
I forgot one other thing. There's a list, and if you're interested, of the water breaks, the water main breaks that we've had. And for 2021 so far, we've only had 6 main water line breaks and 2 service lines to people's homes. That's pretty good for this cold weather. 2020, we had 23 water breaks total. 2019, we had 28 of them. 2018, we had 22, so we're behind, but yet we're still not out of the woods because March is the time that the frost goes deep, so when it's thawing out. So we could get some more broken water lines, but it's been good so far this year.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Freely.
And that's good news, because one thing I was going to bring up, Charlie, is that there were 2 water lines that broke right in our vicinity of our neighborhood. One that was on 6th Avenue between 4th and 5th Street, which actually flooded a basement of a home, and then also one right directly across the street from us at between 6th and 7th Avenue on 3rd Street, which hadn't happened in the 30-plus years that we've lived there. So I'm a little concerned about, and it may be because of the steam being shut off in those neighborhoods now this year.
No, Councillor Freelib, they've only had 1 water break where they've removed the steam of those 6 water breaks. Only one of them was due to where the steam lines were taken out.
Okay.
That's all this year.
That's
so
good to know.
they're happy with that. And this was a really cold stretch that we had there. So
Thank you.
they're happy with that.
Thank you, Councillor Freely. Okay, anything else on the public utilities report, Councillor Bearable?
No, that is it, unless somebody else has a question on it.
Councillor Pauls, nobody? Okay, so go ahead with your next item.
I've got one other item that I told Britt to remind me. I could bring it up at the council reports if you prefer. It's not really a liaison report, but if you allow me to do it now. I got notification today from our St. Louis County Commissioner, Keith Nelson. Remember, I raised all kinds of heck about not having somebody here for the equalization board in May. We will have 2 individuals from the county assessor's office here. One will be Mr. Cipolla, and I believe it will be Mr. Orant will be the other. I'm not sure for which one the second one will be. But the commissioner would like us just to send a letter requesting that we have those 2 individuals in person here for the equalization board. So I'm going to make a motion to that effect, so they just want it as a record that we're requesting it, but it's going to happen.
Okay, so you're requesting a letter, you're making a motion to send a letter of request for members of the
It can
Property
be
Tax Committee to attend in person our
equalization board on May
equalization board
6th.
meeting?
Yes, that's what the motion is. You can send it to Commissioner Nelson if you want, or directly to the board, whichever way you want.
A motion is made to send a letter to the county requesting in-person assistance from the county with respect to the Board of Equalization that's scheduled for later on in the spring. Is there support for that?
I'd support that. Okay.
Support by Councillor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in, I'm sorry, Councillor Johnson.
I'll only support this if we are putting in the letter being compliant with their employee regulations, union contracts, and current executive orders by the governor. I'm not comfortable demanding that we be treated specially if none of their employees are coming into in-person work at this time. I think we still need to be respectful of that. So I will only support it if we put those 3 things in there.
Let me clarify maybe, Counselor Johnson. They have agreed and volunteered. They aren't being forced. They volunteered to do this through their department, and it has to do with the authorization of the vaccine shots that those individuals have received. So they will have been vaccinated, the people coming.
Counselor Johnson?
I appreciate that information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Johnson. So it's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
No.
Thank you. Pam, would you please take the roll call?
Baranzelli. Huffy.
Aye.
Caribou.
Yes.
Friedlieb.
Aye.
Paulson.
Aye.
Yondich.
Aye.
Johnson.
No.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you. Okay, anything else, Counselor Bearable?
No, that will complete what I need to do tonight, so I thank you. Unless Britt has something that we talked about, I don't think so anymore.
Okay, thank you. I'll move to item 11, the department head reports. Oh, well, let's go back to item 10, commission liaison reports. Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
On March 18th, I attended a Zoom Essentia Hospital Board of Directors meeting, and I just wanted to give a little update. A lot of times, there isn't information that I can come forward and update with. And we, prior to the actual board meeting, we had a very interesting educational session regarding emergency operations planning and hazard and vulnerability assessing. And one of the employees there, Trent McDowell, gave a wonderful presentation. And after that presentation, there was a question portion, and they were asked about how they mobilized incident command during the recent fire that we just had at the apartment building. And I found that they did do a really good job in terms of their incident command mobilization. I believe it was Dr. Zadi at the ER made the call that they would not be able to take any burn victims or smoke inhalation. So they put a plan in place in order to, if that were to come forward, that they had that under their emergency management and in communication, I would hope, with our chief and staff at the fire department. So that was a really nice educational session in terms of how they collaborate in the integration with emergency services for things that we might not even think about, how we need to collaborate, between the city and a healthcare entity. And then part of the other, there was a lot that was discussed, but part of the other discussion was there is a tentative date of March 26th for the closing of the property, and if that is the case, I guess they would like maybe some further information to come forward. So if we could have our city attorney maybe contact their attorney on that regarding that closing date. I think they're as anxious as we are to wrap that up. And let's see, they gave a medical staff update, and their recruiting update is actually really positive, with some family practice physicians coming forward and actually being domiciled in the city of Virginia, and then as well as a new psychiatrist that will be domiciled here in Virginia. So that was some positive things. And the final request from the medical staff and the leaders there, they wanted to let the public know that Essentia is now open and available for breast and colon cancer screening, as well as immunizations, that they want the public to know they're welcome to come in, it's a safe environment, and that those types of screening operations can resume again. So I just wanted to give that update. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Councilor Paulson. Okay, any other commission liaison reports from the council? Okay, now we'll move to item 11, department head reports. Does any department head, either in the audience or there's no one on the line, so anybody have a department head report they'd like to give? Britt, do we have any other reports to disseminate? Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to item 12, council reports. Does any city councilor have a request, a comment, or concern, or report that they would like to give tonight? Seeing none, I have one item, and this is a city proclamation. And this proclamation was to have been devised on Wednesday, March 17th. This is a proclamation recognizing small business development centers. This was a proclamation that the governor put, a state proclamation recognizes them, but we didn't get notification till late that this was going to be the case. I did get a request from those organizations who represent the small business development to help our small businesses in our communities if we would also have a proclamation. So because it was late, it was unable to do so at a formal meeting, so we'll do that tonight. And this is a proclamation that was requested. And it says, whereas the mission of Minnesota Small Business Development Centers is to help entrepreneurs start and grow businesses that succeed. And whereas starting, owning, and investing in a small business in Virginia is a passion and a dream of new ventures, and for those businesses that have been passed down from generations to generation. And whereas small businesses in Virginia are the engine that drives our local economy by providing essential products and specialty services to our region. And whereas small businesses were challenged by the COVID-19 pandemic, with the City of Virginia, the SBDC organizations, and VITA helping business owners recover and procure aid under the Paycheck Protection Program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, local grants, and other sources of aid. And whereas Minnesota SBDCs provided 32,900 professional consulting hours at no cost to more than 5,835 Minnesota entrepreneurs and businesses, and whereas Virginia businesses continue to be adversely affected by the COVID-19 restrictions and are working together with SBDCs to overcome their losses and employ whatever steps that are necessary to maintain operations and be successful in the city of Virginia. And whereas we must be grateful and do all we can to encourage small business development and support our local shopkeepers as we gravitate through these difficult times and plan for our future. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Larry Cuffey Jr., along with the Virginia City Council, recognizes the proclamation by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and hereby proclaims Wednesday, March 17, 2021, as Small Business Development Centers Day. In witness thereof, I set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Virginia to be affixed this 23rd day of March, 2021. And once again, I'd just like to say that small businesses in Virginia have really, stepped up to the plate, and they suffered significantly through this COVID-19. And as the quote comes from way back where in Abraham Lincoln days, well, we must endeavor to persevere, and they certainly did so. And we're doing everything we can to continue to provide assistance to keep these small businesses alive and thriving. So thanks you for everybody who runs a business or is a part of a business in the downtown area, local businesses, or in the entire city of Virginia. Thank you for standing up and continue to move forward. So does anybody have anything else you'd like to add? Okay, seeing none, we have no further business to come before the City of Virginia this evening. Just a reminder, there is a tour for the city staff and elected officials tomorrow for the new MEC project. We have the major, not only the project manager from Virginia, but corporate members from Carl Center will be coming to tour the facility as well. So if anybody can make it, look forward to that. And that's about at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'll meet at the construction trailer, and they'll give you the grand tour. It's all buttoned up there, so it'll be a lot more. It'll be a lot warmer. So moving forward. So thank you very much for hearing. So nothing else to come before the council this evening. We will stand adjourned to our next council meeting, which will be Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. 5:30 p.m. here at the City Council Chambers. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Be safe and have a great week. We stand adjourned.